IC sees China, Russia, Iran, and
Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard said China has heavily invested in stealth aircraft, hypersonic weapons, and nuclear arms. According to Assosicted Press noting Russia's large nuclear arsenal, she called the country a formidable competitor. She added that while Iran is not currently seeking to build a nuclear weapon, it has become a critical supplier of weapons to Russia. And North Korea, she said, remains committed to pursuing military capabilities that would allow it to strike U.S. forces in the region or the U.S. homeland. Gabbard's remarks came during her testimony before the Senate Intelligence Committee during a hearing on worldwide threats to the U.S. These actors are in some cases working together in different areas to target U.S. interests, Gabbard told lawmakers.
IC sees China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea engaging in activities that could challenge U.S. capabilities and interests, especially related to our security and economy. These actors are in some cases working together in different areas to target U.S. interests and to protect themselves from U.S. sanctions.
All of you, your service to the country, it matters. There are a lot of citizens of our country right now that have.
At this point, the IC assesses that China is our most capable strategic competitor. Under the leadership of President Xi Jinping, the People's Republic of China seeks to position itself as a leading power on the world stage, economically, technologically, and militarily. Beijing is driven in part by a belief that Washington is pursuing a broad effort to contain China's rise and undermine CCP rule, fielding advanced capabilities, including hypersonic weapons, stealth aircraft, advanced submarines, stronger space and cyber warfare assets, and a larger arsenal of nuclear weapons. While it would like to develop and maintain positive ties with the United States and the Trump administration to advance its interests and avoid conflict, China is building its military capability in part to gain advantage in the event of a military conflict with the United States around the issue of China's efforts toward unification with the Republic of China, or Taiwan. China's military is also expanding its presence in the Asia-Pacific region with a focus on disputed territorial claims in both the East China and South China Seas. Russia's nuclear and conventional military capabilities, along with its demonstrated economic and military resilience, make it a formidable competitor. Moscow has more nuclear weapons than any other nation that could inflict catastrophic damage on the United States and the world in the event of a major war that Russian leaders feared put them and their regime at serious risk. North Korea is probably prepared to conduct another nuclear test on short notice and continues to flight test its ICBMs to demonstrate their increasing capabilities as leverage in future negotiations. Since 2022, China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea have grown closer. Removing the accelerant of the war in Ukraine is unlikely to revert these bilateral relationships to a pre-war 2021 baseline, leaving room for new strategic priorities and world events to create new incentives or challenges to their currently high levels of cooperation.
The document that AP compiled, and I presume this is through open sources, documented 59 incidents, including cyber attacks, spreading propaganda, plotting killings, or committing acts of vandalism, arson, sabotage, or espionage. Is that consistent with your understanding and impression of what Russia's currently engaged in Europe?
Senator, I haven't seen that specific article, but I can confirm that we assess Russia's attempts to conduct such sabotage activities in Europe. Our assessment is that the most extreme threat related to fentanyl continues to come from and through Mexico.
So the president has stated that the fentanyl coming through Canada is massive and actually said it was an unusual and extraordinary threat. And that was the language that was used to justify putting tariffs on Canada. I'm just trying to reconcile those two issues. Is it an unusual and extraordinary threat, or is it a minor threat that doesn't even merit mention in the annual threat assessment?
Senator, I don't have the numbers related to Canada in front of me at this time. I'd like to get back to you on the specifics of that answer.
It's less than 1% of the fentanyl that we that we are able to interdict.
U.S. negotiators worked on a proposed partial ceasefire in the 3-year-old conflict in Ukraine on Monday, meeting representatives from Russia one day after holding separate talks with a team from Kiev. According to Associated Press, senior Russian lawmaker Grigory Kherson, who took part in the Russia-US talks in Riyadh, told Russian state news agency RIA Novosti that the conversation was very interesting, difficult, but quite constructive. "We were at it all day from morning until late at night," Kherson was quoted by the agency as saying on Tuesday. Speaking about the conflict in Ukraine, Kherson said Moscow's and Washington's positions don't always align, but the two parties will continue to look for ways to cooperate, as there is now an understanding that cooperation is necessary to resolve the conflict. The lawmaker added that talks between expert groups from Russia and the US could continue. Kherson chairs a Foreign Affairs Committee in the Russian Parliament's upper house, the Federation Council. Before becoming a lawmaker, he served as a deputy foreign minister. Another official representing Russia at the talks was Sergei Beseda, an advisor to the head of Russia's Federal Security Service, FSB. Beseda previously was a department chief at the FSB and reportedly dealt with Ukraine. In an exchange with reporters at the White House, U.S. President Donald Trump said territorial lines and the potential for U.S. ownership of a key nuclear power plant in southern Ukraine have been part of the talks. Jessica Aber, former Virginia prosecutor who led investigation into Russian nationals carrying out fraud in U.S. as well as CIA leaks, was found dead in her home on March 22, local media reported on Sunday. Police discovered Aber unconscious at 9:20 a.m. The cause of the 43-year-old lawyer is being investigated. The former prosecutor mainly investigated cybercrimes related to Russia, the covert activities of Russian companies in the United States, leaks from American intelligence and war crimes. She played a major role in the first criminal prosecution of Russian soldiers for crimes against a U.S. citizen in Ukraine. Under her leadership, the White House charged 2 Russian nationals with large-scale cyber fraud and money laundering. The prosecutor resigned in January after Donald Trump took office as president. According to preliminary reports, her death might be linked to a long-standing medical condition.